Hi friends, in today's lecture we will be studying how to use the if function of Microsoft Excel. The if function is one of the most widely used functions of Microsoft Excel. It is used in scenarios whenever you want to do a kind of conditional check, whether a particular value is greater than any particular value, or whether a value is true or whether it is a false. So whenever you want to check two conditions, you'll use a function called as the if function. I would be taking all the efforts in this video to make you understand the if function. However, I would also be waiting patiently for your comments, whether you like the video, whether you understood the if function, and if you have any queries for understanding the if function, please write it down in the comment section of this video, and rest assured I will revert back to you. Also friends, the practice file which I have used in this video, the link for that I have provided in the description of this video. Please utilize that file for further studying if function and expanding your knowledge. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into understanding the if function. So friends, over here you can see that I have used a file called as if formula workbook, and in this file, if you take a greater look, you will come to know that I have written names of some Indian applications and the revenue generated by these applications. Now I want to compare these revenue figures with a particular condition. So this is condition 1, condition 2, condition 3 and condition 4. So there are different conditions, 4 different conditions. We'll check them one by one. We'll start with the first simple condition. So what is this condition? This condition is if the value of revenue is greater than 15,000, then over here it should write good. If it is not greater than 15,000, then it should not do anything. Just let it remain blank. So this is the condition check which we want to put. So when you have such a scenario, it is always better that you put your conditional value in a separate cell over here like this. So later on, instead of 15,000, if you want to make it to 17,000 or 20,000, just by making a change in that cell, your result can be achieved. So let us see the first scenario. So we come on this cell and we write down equal to if. Then we give open parenthesis, and then you can see that in the if function there are three parameters. The first parameter is what is the logical test. So my logical test is if revenue, that is cell B5, is greater than this value, that is C2. If it is true, then what should happen? This is the second parameter. So the second parameter I am saying then write good. But if it is not true, what it should do? And that is the third parameter. So nothing. So I will just open and close quotation marks and I will close parenthesis. Before hitting enter, just understand the syntax of if. So if followed by a condition, if it is true, what should happen? And if it is false, what should happen? Now you can see that we are comparing the value of B5 with C2. If you copy this formula down, then because of relative cell referencing, that C2 will become C3, C4, C5 and so on. So we don't want that. So what we will do is we will modify this formula in such a way that instead of C2 we'll put F4 to log these values. So that value C2 becomes fixed, absolute. Rest everything remains the same. So if B5 is greater than C2 absolute value, then what it should do? Then it should substitute good. Otherwise, it should just remain blank. I'll hit enter and I will just copy the formula down. Alright, so you can see wherever the value is greater than 15,000, it's coming as good, and where the value is less than 15,000 it is just blank. Let's say I'll put over here 21,000 and it should come as good. So this is the first condition. Now let us see the second condition. Here we want to put two conditions. If revenue is greater than 15,000 and revenue is less than 20,000. So there are two conditions. Then it should come as good, otherwise nothing. So in such a scenario, you will begin with equal to if open parenthesis. Now before you give the logical condition, you will write and then you will open parenthesis and you will give the first criteria, that is if revenue is greater than 15,000, lock it by pressing F4, and you want to give another condition, so again you give comma, revenue is greater than and revenue is less than this value and lock the value. If this criteria is true, close parenthesis, comma, then write down good. Okay, else nothing, close bracket. So let's understand the function. So if revenue, that B5 means revenue, is greater than D2, that is 15,000, and revenue, that is B5, is less than 20,000, then it should substitute good. Otherwise, it would substitute it as just open and close parenthesis, nothing, close bracket. So here you can see what we have done is we have used the AND function in the if function. So now I hit enter and now I copy the formula. So wherever the revenue is greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000, it is writing as good. Okay. Now let us see the third criteria. In the third criteria, if you see the first part is same like this. That is, if revenue is greater than 15,000 and revenue is less than 20,000, then good. So that's the first part is the same. But in the second part, there is a condition that if this is not true, then there's one more check over here, and that check is if revenue is greater than or equal to 20,000, then write exceptional, otherwise just substitute the value. So since the first part is same like this part, what we'll do, we'll copy this formula, we'll select this, Control C copy, and same formula we'll paste it here. Okay. So the first part is the same. In the second part, so we'll remove this value, and in the second part we are substituting another if condition, and in that we write down, we begin with open parenthesis, and we write down if revenue is greater than or equal to 20,000, and we lock the value by pressing F4. If this condition is true, then it should write down exceptional, and if no, then it should just substitute the value of that cell. That's it. Then we close this if, and we close the outer if as well. Then we hit enter. So you can see this value is falling in the second condition, because the first condition greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000 is not satisfied, but the second condition it is satisfied, greater than 20,000, so it's put as exceptional. Let's copy the values down. So depending on the condition, it will either put exceptional or the value or the good. And finally we come to the last condition, and over here there's a or criterion. So let us see how to do it. So we'll say equal to if revenue, that is this value. Now see, since there is a or condition, so it says you should begin with or. So after if, after open parenthesis, say type or, then open parenthesis and write down if B5 is greater than or equal to 20,000 and lock it, or B5 is less than or equal to 15,000, lock it. If this condition is true, so our or condition is complete, so close it. If it is true, then substitute over there flag, else write nothing. So open and close quotation, close parenthesis, and hit enter. So just see whether the brackets are balanced. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and hit enter. And then just copy the formula down. So wherever the condition is, either the revenue is greater than or equal to 20,000, or where the revenue is less than or equal to 15,000, it is substituting flag, otherwise there is nothing. So we have seen in this example how to use the simple if function. Then we have seen how to use if with and. Then we have seen if with one more if inside it, also called as a nested if. And then we have seen if with the or function. So 4 different ways of using the if function. So friends, hope you have understood how to utilize the if function. Use this file, practice it again and again till the concept becomes clear to you. So with this, we end this lecture. And don't forget, if you like this video, you have to subscribe, click on like and share the video. Goodbye and see you in the next lecture.